does not.
Life is hard when you're a well-kept man.
Yeah.
Well, here we are. We're down to Friday. If you haven't been paying attention all week, I've done something I haven't done yet before with our happy hour last call. I've made a whole series out of my sessions here in the studio with my friends Ryan and Chris from BattleMage Brewing in Vista. I appreciate their point of view so much because, well, they're just like me. They enjoy what they do and they have a passion for what they do, and they also like D&D. And if you know me, I love my D&D, and it's been a great week drinking beer with them. If you get a chance to come to San Diego, if you're out of the market, if you come in for TwitchCon, you come in for Comic-Con, go check these guys out. You will not be disappointed, and maybe even get in a D&D game in their tasting room. It sounds like you guys are very open to having those.
Yeah, I mean, we run games on Monday and Tuesday. We have an in-house campaign that has hundreds of players in it. It's open to players of any experience, and even if you're not in a D&D, the beer doesn't suck, so come by and hang out.
You can watch people play D&D, which is also entertaining.
I'm gonna say it, and I'm probably gonna regret it because I got a feeling you're holding me to it. Since I play Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I might try and see if I can get a seat at one of your Monday games.
Yeah.
And
we can make that happen.
Cause a little bit of trouble.
Yeah. The DMs love it. DMs love it.
Oh, more meat for the grinder. Good. All right, well, we're running on to our segment here. So do me a favor. If you haven't already gone back, check out the other videos that we have in the YouTube from Drinking With Them all week. Excuse me. And you're also going to get a bonus after we're done with this beer on the air. We're going to do another maltier style after. So stick around. And are you guys ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Here we go.
All right.
I really wish I had some sort of kitschy D&D way to end this, but as it started in a tavern on Monday, it's going to end in a tavern on Friday here in the All 94.9 studios with Ryan and Chris from BattleMage Brewing in Vista. It's been an adventure all week. We didn't roll any dice on air. I didn't have to do any perception checks. My stealth seems to be good. Sleight of hand was awesome because I stole $10 out of Chris's wallet. And, oh, did I admit that on air? But
good thing that was counterfeit.
We are down to our last beer. We've had some really cool stuff. I must say, the Hazy IPA yesterday, I've been thinking about it since yesterday. So thank you for ruining my brain when it comes to IPAs, and I need a main line of that.
You did actually do a perception check on Tuesday.
Oh, that's right.
It was just a liquid form.
Liquid form perception check. I don't know. With the song, I don't think I rolled as good as I actually thought I did. But you know what? I felt heroic in the moment, so thank you for that. What are we hitting this week with?
We're doing the beer is dark and full of tears. This is our milk stout with coffee and cocoa nibs in there. The coffee actually is from Iverson Roasters, who's going to be at our anniversary on October 8th. So he kind of keeps the people going. So it's complimentary nitro cold brew to take a break in between the beers. But
always swim. Keep swimming.
Yeah, just keep going. Just keep going.
Keep swimming.
There's a blend. You can do blends and stuff. But yeah, this beer is the one that we entered into the competition that won at Rhythm and Brews back in, man, what year was that? Like 2014 or something?
I don't know, man. We're pretty old. It was a while back.
Yeah, back in 1986. But yeah, it was a kind of an amalgamation of styles. So it's a little bit higher ABV than a normal milk stout would be at 6.3, not much. But it was also a little bit hoppier than milk stout would be. And then I got into my experimental phase of adding a bunch of different things to beers. So it was toasted cocoa nibs and coffee, and it won Best in Show in that homebrew competition. So we were like, all right, this might work. We got to brew on Mother Earth's setup in Vista at their professional brewery, and that's kind of when we started writing up our business plan. But this beer has been a mainstay at the brewery since we opened. The people who love darker, maltier beers definitely lean towards this one quite a bit. It's asked for on the regular. So yeah, it's got a nice balance with the lactose in there. It's not as sweet as some other milk stouts would be. So again, going for more drinkability than just super intense flavor. And with the air conditioning in here, I'm really liking this beer.
Dude, this is amazing.
I think one of the cool things too that we actually adapted when we originally did the coffee for this beer, that we were doing a liquid cold brew into the finished beer, and it was easy to blend because you can control the ratios really well. But what we switched to, since we know the roaster so well and he's local, is he roasts the coffee, and while it's still in that green phase, we get that coffee within 24 hours of him roasting, and we throw it in the beer. So it goes through an off-gassing period inside the beer, which is something we can do since the roaster literally also lives in San Diego and it's kind of local. We use some really raw, fresh ingredients right after he's finished the process, and we capture a lot of those off-gases basically from that roasting process that then get trapped in the beer, and I think it gives it a really unique flavor.
Well, you know what it doesn't do? It doesn't give it that burnt coffee flavor.
Yeah.
It gives it a very full. I mean, if you've ever had, I would say, like an AeroPress version of a light Latin American coffee, you get those light coffee notes to it that aren't heavy and dark, but yet still resonate with that coffee vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I get more on the aroma than in the flavor, which is great because then you can really taste the beer, but on the aroma you're getting those kind of nutty, chocolatey notes that really are accentuated by the coffee. So yeah, it's a tasty one.
You having a moment?
So every time I have my go-to beers, right, at the brewery. It's like I generally will go for whatever our rotating IPA is or the Pilsner, which is probably my main go-to. But certain beers that I don't drink all the time, when I do drink them, I'm like, man, this is a really good beer.
Man, we don't suck.
We
know how to brew beer. This is amazing.
I don't appreciate all of our beers as much as I should. But yeah,
I think that's one of the
It's like, man,
things we excel in is we've focused on brewing a lot of different styles over the years, and we try to have something for everyone. We have something light, something malty, something hoppy, whatever you're into. It doesn't have to be that every person in San Diego loves just hoppy beers. You find that people's palates are very different, and we try to have something for everyone. So I think that comes through in the wide variety of styles we have.
Yeah.
And this beer really showcases that. But shall I take us to a fantasy realm?
Yes, please. Give me the last story this week of the BattleMage and what is on this can.
All right. This story, actually, if you go to our website, which is www.battlemagebrewing.com, has a more in-depth version of the story. Also starts in a tavern like you started. The warlock smiled maniacally as he pulled out a box to taunt the BattleMage with. As he opened it, 1, 2, 3 sets of eyes, and hundreds appeared out of the depths of the box. A great horde of demons burst forth, smiles like daggers, crashing like a wave upon the BattleMage. The BattleMage pounded his stout, for the beer was dark and full of terrors. But he would stand his ground and slay these foul creatures.
See, the best part is, counterpointing with what's lying underneath this song you didn't hear, but I've already started AC/DC Back in Black. That was perfect. What a way to go out on Friday! Thank you! Man, oh man, of Shevitz, that was good! Oh, what a perfect counterpoint. What a great way to wrap up the week. Oh my God. You sure this is not like 8%?
Give or take a couple percent.
I mean, ABV really is only kind of a guess anyways, right?
Yeah, it's a hydrometer's guess.
That is so tasty, and I love the fact that what you've done with the coffee is you're almost kind of like you're like dry hopping the coffee with it.
Yeah.
And it you don't get the stringent things you get out of coffee when it gets too hot or it's steeped too long. It really is the best notes of the coffee.
Yeah, really capturing the aroma. The flavor of coffee is definitely good, but it is more acidic and it can be acrid too. So you don't really want that in a beer that already has a bunch of roasted malts in it because you're just kind of doubling down on that note. So
I think to build on that too is like one of the things that we've always done differently is almost everyone in their stouts always uses black malt, which is super astringent and bitter and has a very like unique
charcoaly
taste to it. And roasted barley is what sets a stout apart from a porter. and we found like a really good blend of dark malts we like, but we stray away from black malt, which makes our stout taste a little bit different, and I think a little more drinkable.
It is incredibly drinkable. Trust me.
Yeah.
I'm ready for our bonus beer at this point.
Yeah.
Please, sir, pass me a can of that ESB. I'm gonna drink this one all on my own. You guys can split the other one. Look
Let's
at that.
do it.
Copper Dragon ESB. Look at that art, man. Look at that art that they've got. So good. I'm probably gonna have to rip the label off one of these. My daughter is in her dragon phase right now.
Oh, nice.
So she'll get her story time, and then instead of having her reading time, she will choose to do her art time. And when she does, her art time is drawing different dragons. If you know the book series Wings of Fire,
No,
She's
sounds
Not
fucking
familiar, but
She's
I
drawing-
need to get it.
she's drawing a whole series of dragons that I've never even heard of. A leaf wing, a mud wing, all these different cool looking dragons. It's like, yes, it is true. A daughter is just a female version of her father, at least the firstborn.
Oh, totally. Like, we both actually have girls also. I mean, his daughter's 3, mine's 2. And at the brewery, we have a giant red dragon on top of our cold box named Lord Nageffen, for those of you that play EverQuest. Because, yeah.
Because,
And-
yeah.
We got that from Home Depot as a Halloween prop, and it's the coolest thing we bought because it breathes fog after 5 fog machines because they suck.
yeah.
And it roars, and every time my daughter comes in, the first thing she asks for, she's like, dragon, and she wants the dragon to breathe fire, and then she'll grab a giant oversized 2-handed sword from our iron throne. It's literally 4 times her size, and she's like, I'm gonna fight this thing. It's like, that's the tenacity, and yeah.
Dad, I'm going to slay this dragon. Yes, sweetheart, yes, you are.
Slaying the dragon is also a term at the brewery. It means trying one of every beer, and it's 3 flights because our flights come on axe paddles. So when you come in and you say, I want to slay the dragon, it means you want one of everything. And we do that. That is just a little thing at the brewery.
So, 2 challenges. 1, Monday night D&D. 2, slay the dragon during Monday night D&D.
Yep. Yes.
Yes, you get axes and drunk. Who doesn't like that?
Well, I will tell you right now, this is so I will admit I'm a malty beer fan, especially around this time of year. I love my IPAs. I love my malty beers, and ESBs are a style that gets overlooked way too commonly. Everybody looks at the board at a brewery or a bar, and they see IPA, they see sours, they see stouts, and they see pales and all that stuff. And it's easy just to go, give me the IPA. But you see ESB, and you wonder, well, what is that experience? Talk to me about your experience with this ESB.
I mean, for me, a malty beer can be a little more complex than a hoppy beer just because everyone's using the same 10 to 15 hops for their IPAs. There are the really popular hops. There's hundreds of varieties out there, but there's 10 or 15 styles that are just the tried and true. You always find Citra, Mosaic, Simcoe, that kind of stuff in your beer. The malty beer, you get a little more complexity, I think, with sometimes. And so this one for us, it's again, when we're doing a traditional style, I try to use authentic ingredients from that country of origin. So it's a Maris Otter base from England, and then 3 British crystal malts layered in together to create a really unique kind of caramel profile to back up that kind of biscuity, malty backbone you get. And then some classic like EKG hops to round it out that has that slight like earthy character to it. It's just super drinkable. There's 3 different levels of, bitter beer in England, and ESB, a style started by Fuller's, is the biggest of those 3.
It's like the most common to find at just a pub.
But
And
you
it's
see
like, this is the beer.
everywhere overseas.
Yeah, it's like
They
this is
actually
the beer
started
you
that
drink
style.
at a pub. There's no like you order one of 5 different beers. It's like, here's your beer. It's an ESB.
And I
Which is
think,
rad.
you look at the classic English styles, and one of the things I really like about it is something I really love about the tasting room is you get that pub experience of like, we're going to sit, have a conversation face to face with actual humans, and you get to hang out and have a few beers. And most of the English beers are not 7 to 10%. They're, 4 to 6% because
And this is 5.4.
Yeah, you're drinking, and this is the high end of that style, but you're there for basically an experience, and you're gonna have a couple beers, not one or two. So, live your life in a pub, I guess, and make some friends.
So I mean, like traditionally, like that's where people got their news from, right? It's like, oh, what's going on around town? You'd go to the pub and drink and talk to people, and that's kind of how you figured it out.
You catch the local gossip. You get some of that spilt tea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you want to be drinking a beer that's not, 8% over the course of several hours. So, it's,
Yeah.
But yeah, this beer specifically is for like an English beer. For me, it's drier. It does have like the layered caramel character in there and the toasted bready character, but it's also very drinkable. It's not real sweet.
Yeah.
Tasting notes: toasted, bready, aroma balanced with mild, earthy hops.
Yeah, you get a little fruitiness from that like English yeast, which I think is traditional for the style. But yeah, no, it's a really balanced beer. It's super crushable. I love it. It's not a core beer we have year round, but we do brew it at least twice a year. It's always a favorite. We do have several other like malty English styles. Our English brown, our English old ale are both core beers that are always on at the brewery. So we try to rotate in like a lot of malt forward stuff to make sure we have a balanced profile for everybody.
Because nothing says I'm going to swing a battle axe into your face like an English old ale.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hooded Assassin, which is the name of our English old ale, really does sneak up on you at 10%.
Whoa!
And it does not taste like it's 10%.
Yeah, it tastes like
And
maybe
it-
7.5, 8, maybe.
It gets you there. If you ever look at the artwork for it, it is, very fitting to the style of beer because it's the BattleMage dealing a game of death with a hooded assassin at a bar. So,
I can't tell you the amount of times people have come up after drinking them and be like, "Oh man, that'll really sneak up on you." It's like
It's
called
ju-
Hooded
it's its
Assassin.
job.
I mean, that's it.
It is
Try
one
to
of
warn you. I mean, I don't
the
know.
only beers we do serve in a smaller 11-ounce pour instead of a pint.
Yeah.
But you can still get 4-packs of it also at 10%. And it slays.
Yeah.
Sounds like I need a 4-pack of that next time I get into to combat.
Yeah.
Dude, do you want to take us on an adventure and read
Yeah,
the
you know
story
what?
on the back of this
you
can?
have you've enthralled us all week with your stories of your beers, and I want to take a shot at this one as we wrap things up. This Copper Dragon ESB. I guess I better lubricate before we get into this.
Yeah, wet the old whistle, you know?
Considering I'm now reading your writing.
Yeah.
Take us on an adventure. Here we go. The thieves snuck into the cavern. Hopefully, they had found the magic elixir that was stored inside the mountain. Indeed, they had come upon the barrels of the enchanted ale. But not only was it guarded by the BattleMage who brewed it, but a copper dragon as well. Teeth like swords, claws like spears, scales as thick as steel, and breath like a volley of acid arrows. The dragon, an army of one, filled the thieves with such trepidation that they were too paralyzed with fear to flee as they met their pitiful end.
That's epic. Yeah.
Did I do it right?
Yeah,
you did it right.
You did
Yeah,
it great.
yeah.
You did it
Yes! Cheers to you, my friends. Thank you for a
Cheers, man.
fantastic week.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Enjoy some BattleMage on your own. Thank you for being here with us this week, and we will see you next week. Hit stop!